Chris Lee and Blake Lovell of Southeastern 14 here, ready to talk about 4 games in the SEC on Tuesday night. We will go in order of tip-off. We do not have lines as we do this on Monday morning, but what we do have is an idea of what the line could be. I have taken Ken Pomeroy, Bart Torvik, ESPN's BPI, and Jeff Sagarin, factored in the home court, come up an average of those, and also a victory probability. So let's start with the first game. That's 5:30 Central on the SEC Network. Mississippi State, fresh off a big win over TCU, travels to South Carolina, which darn near pulled an upset of Georgia and Athens. That one went to overtime, but the Gamecocks lost again. We have circled this as a good opportunity for Mississippi State to start picking up wins, and the computers have the Bulldogs as about a 10-point favorite in this one with an 84% chance to win. Blake, any reason to think that is not the way it goes down in Columbia?
You know, I might pick all the upset picks on this slate just for fun. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not doing
Well, when
that
Carolina pulls them, it's not in its building, right?
No, they don't play well at home. If you want the full story on that, let's see. Their last 4 SEC home games, they've lost by 43, 41, 12, and 15. So, yeah, it's not been great. But, I mean, look, for South Carolina, they just got to have a great shooting performance, as we said. That's what helped them beat Kentucky. It's what helped them almost beat Georgia. They've just got to be lights out from 3, which they've shown is possible. I just don't think it's going to happen against one of the best defenses in the league in Mississippi State. Of course, on the other side, if Mississippi State's not scoring the ball well, which they don't do consistently, you know, this could be an ugly game where South Carolina just kind of maybe hits some shots and Mississippi State isn't making shots, and it's closer than you would think. That's why I think, for Mississippi State to pull away from anybody, I feel like is asking a lot because of their offense. And, they're what now? 355th nationally now in both 3-point percentage and free throw percentage. They're not much better from 2. And so that worries me a little bit, about them just completely winning in a blowout here. But I mean, I don't know how you can pick South Carolina to win. So we'll pick Mississippi State, but they worry me a little bit on the road in an offensive situation. And they just don't strike me as the kind of team that's just going to completely blow anybody out. So I'd be shocked if it's to, the Tennessee or A&M level that we saw those 2 teams. But certainly Mississippi State has to win this game to keep things going the right direction tournament-wise.
State is 1-4 on the road. The one win was at Minnesota, which is a bad team, a little better than South Carolina. That was back on December 11th. Now, the losses, won a blowout in Knoxville, which just about everybody gets blown out there, other than Kentucky. Georgia on the road, that was an 8-point loss. Auburn, that was a 6-point loss. And then the 3-point loss to Alabama, which we said, hey, maybe that's a precursor for better things at home against TCU, which it was. But in any case, I'm with you on that one. I don't know that I'd pick State to cover the spread, but I might pick them to win. Although South Carolina, goodness gracious, they have certainly participated in their share of bad end of blowouts. Okay, 6 o'clock, ESPN2. Texas A&M travels to Arkansas in what my mind is probably the most interesting game of the week, if you include Wednesday night games. Arkansas is about a 5.5-point favorite at home with a 69% chance to win. Boy, A&M's playing really well too, Blake.
Yeah, they are. I mean, it's a great game on paper because we said I made the case. I said, look, I think A&M is moving closer to the 2 range than they are the 4 range right now, the way they're playing. And, because we had them at number 3 in our power rankings, they're playing that well. And again, I said in the power rankings, but like, it's where a team is right now. Right now, they're playing as well as anybody. They lost the game in Kentucky, and I told you, I came out of that game not really that disappointed in A&M at all because, Kentucky's made more plays down the stretch, but A&M, I didn't think played bad. And so, yeah, I mean, the Vanderbilt game, you kind of just throw off to the side. I say that about every Vanderbilt game, and I don't mean it in a bad way. It's just you just fully expect it to be close somehow. But the theme I've stuck with here for about 2 weeks now.
Who can hit shots?
Well, yes, but at the same time, I've also stuck with the theme that I think Arkansas is going to be 5-5 in the league. And I think this is the one they have to get to 4-5. And I think I'm going to lean towards Arkansas here. This is one where I think there's some similarity here between this game and A&M's game at Auburn. And we saw how that turned out. So if A&M gets rolling, Arkansas is kind of the same kind of team where I just look at them. If they were to find themselves just in this big hole here and A&M just coming out on, doing what they've been doing, it may be challenging because again, Arkansas is a team that doesn't shoot the ball well from outside, but they're going to defend. And I I think how Arkansas has been playing lately, we've said the defense has gotten better, I believe. And yes, two of those games against Ole Miss and LSU. And let's be honest, you don't have to be perfect defensively to kind of hold those two teams down the way they're struggling offensively. But um, this is a gut game. Like this is just one where you just go by feel, and I think this is so significant for Arkansas. We talk about those kind of games and the importance level. We feel like every game's kind of important for A&M in terms of getting to their resume, but this to me is huge for Arkansas because there is a big difference when you look at their upcoming schedule in being 4-5 and 3-6 because after South Carolina, at Kentucky, Mississippi State, at A&M, you got Florida. You still got road games against Bama, Tennessee. You got Kentucky again. So I think Arkansas's just overall schedule and the strength of it will help them, no matter what kind of how the rest of the season unfolds. Now, obviously, barring a complete, losing every game or something. But I'm going to give them the nod in this one. I think it should be a great game. I think here it is, Chris. You ready for it? If you're ready for your SEC free throw special, here it is. Look no further than this game right here because I think these two teams foul. I think they're going to get to the free throw line. I think they're both going to attack because that's what they do best. And so game time here maybe 2.5 hours, but after that 2.5, I'm gonna give the nod to Arkansas, even though I've started to. I mean, I've said it. I'm officially on the A&M bandwagon, but I just think that I don't know. I think this is more about Arkansas for me, and they really, really need this one. And I thought they played okay at Baylor, and maybe come back home at Bud Walton and get a huge win here that would kind of catapult them forward in terms of getting back where they need to be in conference play.
Could this be the Kamani Johnson fouls out in 9 minutes special?
Well, that's the thing, though, right? To keep that in mind here. If you're looking at the A&M standpoint here and you're like, all right, give me a reason to pick A&M. Well, they get to the free throw line as much as anybody. And Arkansas is working, as we know, with a sort of shorter rotation. And so you get people in foul trouble. Matchup wise, hey, maybe this is a tough one for Arkansas. And I think it absolutely is. But again, if we just make our picks, I will pick Arkansas, but I think matchup wise, this is a scary one because not just how A&M's playing, it's how A&M plays, and there's a difference there. Like it's how they play. I think that can be a little worrisome for Arkansas. But in the same sense, I think Arkansas can mirror what they do a little bit, and I think Arkansas's ability, gosh, it's hard to score against A&M right now, though, isn't it? I mean, it's a great game. It is. It's a great game on paper. Again, that's hoping it doesn't turn into a foul shooting contest. So, yeah.
Well, it feels like the smart thing in this one is to go home court where Arkansas has been really good. This is not the Arkansas team of a year ago, but I think we try to bring all sides to things. A&M's 4-2 on the road. The losses were 4 at Memphis back on December 17th. That's when A&M wasn't playing that well. The other one was at Kentucky last week by 9 points. The wins at Auburn by 16 last week. At South Carolina, that was a 41-point blowout. At Florida, the opening game of SEC play, that was a 3-point win. And the other one was at DePaul, which has kind of been all over the place, but isn't that good of a team. So for what it's worth, there you go. Anything else on this one before we move on?
Yeah, I mean, A&M's, again, still third in the country, free throw attempts per game. They're averaging 25. Arkansas, I think, is like 27th. They're averaging around 22. But the bigger question, again, going back, if you just want to look at the numbers, fouls per game, I mean, that's something I think you really look at too. Arkansas's 317th. in fouls per game. A&M is 303. So I fully expect this to be a free throw game. Just fully expect it.
Yeah, it's a lot, 2.5 hours to watch this one. Okay, you've got Vanderbilt heading to Alabama, 7:30 Central, SEC Network. These two teams have played once. Alabama wiped the floor with Vandy in Nashville. That one was over 20 in the second half. Vandy got it a little closer at the end, but Alabama was in control for about 3/4 of that game. This is one that I have a hard time sizing up because you would think that Alabama would be plenty motivated after what happened to Alabama and Norman, but we've also noted Vandy's ability to play everybody good and bad close. The computers have Alabama as about a 17-point favorite in this one with a 92% chance to win. Look, Vandy's not going to go to Tuscaloosa and win this game, but if you've got Alabama covering 17, you might think twice about that.
Yeah, this is a game to go a lot of ways. This is a game to go a lot of ways, I think. This to me is about Alabama.
One more thing, and this is not reporting, but this is just something to watch. There have been some whispers that Liam Robbins is getting healthier, and we could be seeing him soon. Now, when he got hurt, and they announced that, I think the night of the Alabama game 3 weeks ago when these teams played, the thought was he was out 4 to 6 weeks and probably more towards the 6. I have heard some talk that foot is healing faster than people have thought. Now, look, does that mean he plays 7 minutes and gets his, no pun intended, feet wet? If he plays at all, I don't know. But I'm just going to put that out there as something to watch because they did not have him when they played Alabama the first time, and he may be back sooner than has been publicly reported. Not reporting, but just telling you, as someone with his ear to the ground in Nashville, that has been how some have sized up the situation.
Yeah, I think either way. I mean, again, for me, this goes back to Alabama. It's just their mindset here. I mean, they're coming off 2 games where they haven't played well, obviously more so in the most recent one. And, I feel like this is the bounce back spot. I really do. But, it's like you're bouncing back against a team that just, if you have to make one bet, you have to go all in on something. Your best bet's probably Vanderbilt loses by single digits. Like that's just kind of, if you're looking at all the potential outcomes, that's just, I don't know why. That's just what's happened seemingly a lot. Now, it didn't happen in the last game, as you said. Alabama was pretty much in control of that one. And I think, you could see a similar scenario here, especially if Alabama comes out with a different mindset. And they had at Oklahoma. And again, a part of that was Oklahoma just hit everything. And again, maybe it's just one of those games. Or maybe this is close and this is like pulling teeth for Alabama the entire way. Then I think you really, look at the possibility that something is up. But I mean, again, Alabama's the pick here. If you're asking me how I know that this game's going to play out one way or the other, I have no idea. And I think it's because Alabama has all of a sudden like rocked our trust a little bit in them by having that one game. And it is just one game, but it's how it happened. It sort of makes you reset your opinion a little bit, even though, Brandon Miller is Brandon Miller and most of the other guys are hitting shots. Maybe they just didn't hit on the road. Alabama should win this game by double digits. So.
Well, there's one problem with betting on this game, and I'm gonna tell you what that is in just a minute. But first, a quick word from our sponsor, BROTHROW, betting $11. Well, it might be betting $11 10 win stinks. With BROTHROW, you bet 10 to win 10. It lets you bet on all 50 states because it's not the house. Bettors have a fair chance at winning. It is the only sports betting platform that doesn't take a cut of every bet. No need to deposit money into a BROTHROW account. No deposits, no minimum bets. No need to connect your bank account. Bettors pay each other directly. There's a hassle-free sign-up process that gets you in the action in seconds. Go to brothrow.com/SE14. Ask to join our private group once you're there. Okay, here's the problem with Vandy. Vandy's not going to go in Tuscaloosa and win this one, although it did become the only team to beat Arkansas in Fayetteville a year ago.
You're about to become a meme soon, Chris, because you said that twice now. And if it happens, you're going to be meme worthy.
Well, here you go. How many times have we seen Vandy, say as a 15-point underdog down 20 late and they they lose by 12, or the Alabama game a couple weeks ago, down 20.
They don't quit,
much of the
man.
second half. That they almost get it to single. I mean, A&M the other night, A&M put them away twice until they didn't. So, just a word of caution for the people out there.
Yeah, I have no feel in this game. If Alabama would have won in Oklahoma, I'd have felt a lot more confident. But the fact is, they got blown out, but back in the friendly confines, I think they should be okay.
All right, last one of the night. In order of tip-off, Kentucky goes to Oxford, 8 Central tip-off. The computers only have Kentucky is about a 3-point favorite in this, which seems low to me, and I would bet you the line is somewhat north of that. Ole Miss has got about a 39% chance to win at home. Ole Miss can defend. We don't know if Matt Morrell plays or not, but I just don't trust Ole Miss to score either way.
Yeah, but I'm not shocked that this could be close because if you actually look at the numbers here, think back to the Tennessee game. The Auburn game was close in Oxford. The Georgia game was close. The Missouri game, maybe not as close, but yeah, I don't know, man. It's Oxford's look, Ole Miss is struggling, but it's not as though like teams have just run away with games there this season. So that would be the only thing I think, that's why I think this could be close. And, it's like Ole Miss is a desperate team, right? And Kentucky needs to avoid bad losses at this point because they certainly have the worst of the bunch so far of anybody by losing to South Carolina. But yeah, this is a tricky one, man. I don't know. And I'm not trying to read too much into this, but it's like Kentucky's coming off a huge emotional game against Kansas. They lost it. Oxford, go there. Ole Miss team doesn't have a lot to play for, really struggling. This is like, for me, this is a Cal getting his attention type game, getting his team's attention. Yeah,
look, Ole Miss has lost 9 of the last 10.
I'm not saying I'm going to pick Ole Miss to win,
digits.
But don't be shocked if this is a game.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
Yeah, I'm just saying. That's just my opinion. So
okay, well, here's where you've got some backing here. Okay, SEC games in Oxford this year. Tennessee wins by 4.
I just said
Alabama. Yeah. Well, I mean, you've got a few others too. Georgia beat them by 4. Yeah, I mean they've. I just don't know. When you keep losing, you don't have much to play for. At what point does that become
maybe
the downward spiral that keeps going?
Yeah, it may be there at this point. I mean, they've lost their last 3 games by double digits. 2 of those on the road, but I mean, Missouri. I think the Missouri game almost made it close there down the stretch. So, like, that's another one that maybe actually a little bit closer than the scoreline would indicate. I don't know. Like I said, I'm picking Kentucky. I'm not going to pick Ole Miss to win, but I just think Oxford's not the most. It's just not an easy place to play, and I think we've seen that for pretty much everybody in SEC play. But I mean, outside of Missouri, think about that too, right? Missouri hit 16 threes in that game. That's helpful. I don't think Kentucky's hitting 16 threes here, and so
Lee is hitting 16 threes.
Alabama may.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I think Kentucky wins this game. I think Kentucky better win this game, but this is an ESPN game, prime time. Ooh. Like, if Morrell's not back, it's certainly a challenge for Ole Miss. It's a challenge either way, but I'm still gonna look at this Kentucky team, and I think they're back, and I think they're gonna make the tournament. I think they'll be fine, but all I'm saying is I think it could be closer than people would expect, just based on the fact that it is a road game in Oxford, a place where Ole Miss is almost desperate at this point, or like you said, maybe it's gone from desperation to just, I don't know, whatever the other word would be to describe where they are now. So we'll see, but I will take Kentucky to win, and I just think it may be closer. This may be rock fight-esque in this one, depending on how Kentucky plays offensively.
If Ole Miss wins, that might be emergency live stream worthy.
Why are we all? Let me ask this question. Okay, I'm gonna ask this for the Kentucky fans. We only do these emergency live streams when the Kentucky loses. Like, come on, dude. I don't think it's fair. I really don't think that's fair. So I apologize, Kentucky fans. That
They're
one was
here for
worthy
it.
because that was
Yeah.
I said that was a historically bad loss. I don't think this would be
Yeah.
historically bad. It would be a bad loss, but yeah, we'll see about that. But again, don't I'm not. Everybody knows where I stand. If you watched our previous videos, I was not as concerned coming out of the Kansas game as some people were. I just thought that Kansas made some big shots and played better.
Yeah.
But sometimes that happens. This game, yes, Kentucky should win by double digits. They should. But I don't know. It's just I'm looking at previous results and I see Ole Miss kind of hanging around with some of these teams in Oxford. And again, it's not as though Kentucky is just overwhelmingly great offensively, even to this point. And so that would be my only thing I would point out. If you want to make an argument, this could be a game down the stretch. That would be it.
All right, we'll be here to recap these games on Wednesday morning, maybe Tuesday night, depending on how these go.
Don't worry,
Either
Kentucky
way,
fans.
we will recap them. Best way to get that is hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching. If you hit the like button, that helps us too. But anyway, we appreciate you being here for us. We will be here for you with a lot of football and baseball content this week too, including Kentucky baseball fans. You're going to want to tune in. I'm just going to leave it at that. We got a nice
How about
little
that,
surprise
Chris?
coming for you.
On the same day, Chris wants to do a live stream if Kentucky basketball loses to Ole Miss, and meanwhile, we're going to give Kentucky baseball fans a nice treat on Tuesday. Come on, Chris, we can't do that to him. So
I'm just covering all my bases.
I appreciate it. Yeah, if you're a Kentucky baseball fan, subscribe. If you're a baseball fan of the SEC in general, subscribe.
Yeah.
But if you're a Kentucky baseball fan, we may have something coming your way a little sooner than everyone else. So,
all right. Thanks for watching Southeastern 14. We'll see you again soon.